Welcome to the Sophia Chang Show. It is time for the 2019 boycott list. These are the top, or I should say worst, 5 companies with terrible customer service, sure to drive you absolutely insane. Customer service is what I boycott companies over because that is proven to cause the most psychological damage. In fact, a July 2016 article in the New York Times by Kate Murphy called "Why Tech Support is Purposely Unbearable" reveals the once and for all things that we already knew, which is that companies try to give you the runaround on purpose in hopes that you will hang up the phone, in hopes that you will not actually go through with wanting the refund for the product that they either never gave you or falsely promised you. So companies actually do that, and she spoke with psychology professors and researchers who found that this kind of crap from companies' customer service centers cause real psychological damage, which we already know. I've had panic attacks many times, and in fact, I pretty much refuse to speak with customer service at this point because given that I have a disease of the central nervous system, I can't afford to have my system being taxed uselessly, pointlessly by these companies. So without further ado, here are the top 5 worst customer service companies. So I'm going to give you not only the company that's not worth your limited resources, including time, energy, and hard-earned money, but I'm also going to give you the alternates that I have been happily patronizing. Number 5 is IKEA for lying to our faces. They're a company who you'll get somebody different every time you talk to. And some of the people are going to be really helpful and will promise you that your refund is coming right away. They're going to process it at the end of the day, and you're going to get it within 7 to 14 days. And about a month later, you'll call in, and this manager, quote unquote manager that you spoke to is nowhere to be found. And you'll get somebody really rude instead who will basically hates their job. I don't understand. If you hate your job, get a different one. I mean, you don't have to do this. You don't actually have to work in customer service if you hate customers. Just a little tip from me to the millennials. So, they'll definitely tell you you'll get something and you won't get it. So it took me about a month and a half to finally get a refund from them. Really difficult company to work with. Instead, I've been going to Target, Walmart, and Amazon. They ship really quickly. Their refunds are so incredibly easy. No questions asked. With Amazon, you can even take it to Kohl's now. So, I'm not getting paid for any of this. I'm just trying to save you some time and aggravation. Apologies go a long way with me. You won't get one from IKEA. Nope. So number 4 is ServPro. If you enjoy unprofessional companies where the workers come in and make screaming personal phone calls, this is the company for you. They will delay every promise they ever make you. Every deadline they give you, they're not going to make it. And this is definitely one of the companies that gave me a panic attack because the work is already extremely loud. This is if you want restoration, mold removal, plumbing, that kind of services. The work is already really loud. And then for the workers to come in and insist on having their personal phone calls. I even had a worker take a personal call in front of my face during the consult. The company's bad. The thing with them is they'll undercut their competitors. So, I would say pay the extra $1. It's worth it. Go to Roto-Rooter. I felt really good about the consult with them. However, I wasn't making the financial decisions, so I got stuck with terrible, terrible ServPro. Can't stand them. Number 3 is Regal Cinema. This one is actually very serious disability discrimination. This might have to do with the fact that millennials are now finally getting real jobs and trying to go into the workforce and instead of sitting on their mommy's couches. And so unfortunately, we've got an influx of people with very poor social skills. That's my theory on why this is likely happening at greater and greater because millennials, they just do not respect not only their elders, but just people in general. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that entitlement. But Regal Cinema, I definitely had the biggest panic attack when their quote-unquote manager, a lot of times managers are not actual managers. That's another thing in the article, is that they'll kind of cycle through people and just kind of give you the manager badge for the night so that you're basically on duty for the house that night. And this absolute terrible person was basically bending over, wagging a finger in my face while I was, resting on my rollator, trying to work out some snafu that was on their side, that was their fault to begin with. That kind of attitude is not necessary, but I mean, getting in the face of somebody who's recovering from chemo, wearing a face mask, looking very disabled, sitting in a rollator, I mean, you're just basically a C word. There's no other way to describe it. I've been going to AMC. They're not great. The theaters are really run down. There's a lot of broken seats, a lot of, you get the same teenagers who could care less about their jobs. Actually, they're not teenagers. They're 25-year-olds acting like teenagers because they still live at home and mommy does their laundry. So you're still going to get those workers everywhere. This whole millennial thing needs to just end. When is it going to end? I'm waiting for the next generation to just grow up. But I digress. So AMC is not fantastic, but hey, you got to go somewhere to see your movies. So a less ghetto theater, let's just say that. Number 2 would be Petco. This one is a false advertising one. They're the ones that, outsource their customer service. So everybody's on a script. They're not really sure what's happening. You'll get somebody really clueless who's trying their hardest to be really sweet. And the thing about the Philippines is that the people have very good social skills. They're very personable people. So talking with them is super pleasant. They're really trying hard to be helpful. They still work for their money and put the effort in, something that Americans just don't seem to do anymore. So it's enjoyable to hear their voices. However, they're not going to get the job done. So with Petco, they're going to tell you, oh yeah, we're going to give you, in my case, it was a $30 gift certificate for signing up for this food delivery service. Never got it, that's false advertising right there. That's a violation. That's a FDA violation right there. So I've been going to PetSmart. Now, this is a big loss for Petco because even before I had my dog, who I've had for over a decade now, I was a long-time rescuer. I fostered pit bulls. I volunteered a lot. So, I have spent probably 5 figures at least on my pet because I also do the in-house pet hospital, the grooming, everything, all the services that they have, I go to PetSmart for. So Petco really lost out. Not giving me the $30 gift certificate that they promised has resulted in a loss of 5 figures. So that's just dumb company right there. That's why they're number 2. And the number 1 company with the dumbest customer service, Domino's Pizza. This one gives me particular pleasure to award the biggest loser to. Not because they were particularly rude. In fact, the other companies were way more abusive and harangued their customers. But Domino's wins just for sheer stupidity. So here's what happened. I ate a lot of pizza. Pizza and pasta are my favorite foods, probably from growing up in New York and pretty much eating it every single day. So I rack up points, and it was time for me to get another free pizza. Now, something went wrong with the system, and I was having a hard time claiming it while I was trying to order from my local branch. And of course, the local branch wanted to wash their hands of it completely. And we're like, oh, you're going to have to call corporate. We don't know how that works. We don't know how to help you. We can't claim it. We can't just, we can't claim the points. What do you call corporate? What, you want me to ring up the CEO? Yes, sir. I would like my free pizza post haste. So anyway, they wanted nothing to do with it. The problem is, it was Friday. So, the hours it was after hours. And by the time I was able to call, quote, corporate, it would have been Monday again. And my points were expiring that weekend. I still gave it a go on Monday and tried to explain to them what happened with the error in points redemption on Friday. And they did that thing that customer service likes to do, where you explain the situation and they pretend that you didn't speak for the last 2 minutes and basically wash their hands of you as quickly as possible. Now, this is the psychological damage part that the New York Times article was reporting on. It's because, when you think that you are able to be effective, and then it turns out that you just wasted all of your time and energy and nothing that you said actually matters, and there's no human being at the other end, just a soulless, empty, dead-eyed automaton who wants to clock in and out. That's where the psychological harm comes in. Domino's Pizza makes $3.43 billion. They made that in 2018. That's a growth of $5 billion. Okay, so which means 2019, if they grow in the same rate, they could make $4 billion or more this year. A $4 billion in revenue company refuses to give me the $7 pizza that I am owed. That, ladies and gentlemen, is stupid. And now, stupid, I take stupid very personally. It's offensive. There's something very viscerally offensive about stupid because it drags everybody down. It drags down the economy. Stupid is what drags everything down. We are not a socialist country where we have to worry about the lowest common denominator. Okay, we're a country built upon competition. I mean, call it what you will. Capitalism has a lot of problems, but the one thing that it does is it forces people to try to not be stupid, to try to do things a little bit quicker, a little bit more efficiently, and just don't be stupid. And I'm saying this as the child of immigrants, incredibly hyper intelligent people who we were the cream of the crop of their country. My parents were the cream of the crop, brought their brains over here because this is the place where the smartest people go. And when I talk to people from other countries, they still want to come here. They still say America has, the best, scientific discoveries, the best medical advances. This is supposed to be the country where there are the best things. So stupid is bad for us. So Domino's, your stupid is bad for us. Shame on you. So there you have it. Domino's Pizza is the number one company on my boycott list for sheer stupidity. Papa John's, I have been giving them my hard-earned money for years now. My roommate likes the taste of their pizza better anyway, so it's a win-win situation. This is 2019 Year in Review Month, and I wanted to personally thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening. Because if it wasn't for you, this podcast would just be me recording into my phone for no reason, which is really, really weird. The Sophia Chang Show is a labor of love and pretty much the only thing that has given me any purpose at all since Annie Mogg, so every listen counts. What you could do to help me is spread the word about the show by sharing it with your friends and leaving a 5-star review on iTunes or any platform you listen on. It means so much to me that you're listening.